Welcome back, everybody. It's Harris with Maine Connects, your source with all things small business and real estate in Maine. I'm really excited to be in one of my favorite places in the area, the Deli Company with Mark and Michelle. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So if you two could just for a minute take a second, introduce yourself, talk a little bit who you guys are.
Sure. My name is Mark Claussen. This is my wife, Michelle Claussen. We've had the Deli Company for 20 years now. Started out as the Saco Island Deli. And ironically, the Deli, we were just talking before about how it was kind of our first baby, our first marriage. We had just graduated culinary school when we bought the business, and we didn't have any money to pay for a wedding. So we started the Deli as Michelle Roy and Mark Claussen, saved up enough money to do most of the work ourselves in a tent under that her dad had at his house. And we did like a lobster bake luau. And
we made all the food ourselves.
I just wasn't allowed to cook on the day of our wedding.
That was the only
That was
rule.
the only caveat.
That was my rule.
I was not allowed any, so we hired some friends and had some family help out. Her dad was had a big lobster steamer, and it was pretty awesome. But we did all the fixings up until that point. We had a margarita fountain, which was pretty fun. Yeah.
We didn't have kids then.
We did not.
Yeah.
We did not.
We were a lot more fun
Yes.
then.
As I said, the Deli was our first baby / marriage. So that we joke with our own kids that our son's 17 now. You're our second born.
Second baby.
Because the Deli was first.
When we first opened, the old Deli, the front counter that's there was here, right in the middle of the dining room, and my sandwich station used to be there.
So as I was preparing food, people could look down. We were open not even a week. I'm gonna say second day. It was the first day we had a fire and we ran out of money. So that was very trying, but we made it through. And someone came in and they said, "Oh, honey, your chicken salad's bad." And I said, "What? Like, I just finished it. It's still warm. Like, it's so fresh." And she said, "Well, it's yellow." I said, "That's curry. What's that?" So I said, "Okay." And we took it upon ourselves to say, you know what? That's when we adopted a Baskin-Robbins policy. You walk in. Well, I don't usually know if I like curry or I don't know if I like that. And we said, "You want to taste?" Yeah. Okay, well, at least you'll know whether or not you like it. And then you don't order a sandwich that you're not happy with. Rather you leave happy and full than unhappy because you weren't sure. So that's kind of how we opened up that culinary adventure.
Right.
And people come in and I don't know if I like it.
Try it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
we'll do
that's
that.
what it tastes like. I'll take that.
Like our kids, try it.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't like it, it's cool, but you have to try it.
One bite policy.
Yeah,
Totally.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of people that we've had regulars over the years, I can think of a few, that they'll only eat tomatoes here. It's not the flavor of the tomato that most, I find, males find not appealing or displeasing in their mouth. It's the texture that can be funny. So because we slice them on a slicer and they're paper thin, that's completely eliminated. They don't have to struggle with it. You're never gonna pull it out of the sandwich. Pesto is another one. I don't like pesto. You wanna give it a taste? Wow, I've never had pesto like that. Never had real pesto. I don't know what to tell you, but this is how we do it. Oh my God, it's my favorite thing. The girl that works here cannot stand curry. Finally, one day I said, you at least have to try it. Okay, oh my God, I hate curry, but that's amazing. That was the curry chicken salad we were just talking about. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you didn't have it prepared properly, or you didn't have it prepared in a way that really just kind of got it going for you. So you never know. And it's okay if you don't like it. You didn't waste your money on a sandwich, just get you something you like. You know?
No, you're not committing to the whole sandwich.
Exactly.
Try a bite. If you love it, get it. If you don't,
That's
move on.
it. And everybody
Exactly.
prepares everything differently.
Right.
Every place has their own recipes. So if maybe somebody had a curry chicken salad that maybe was spicy. They didn't like that. Ours is a little on the sweet side.
Mm-hmm.
We have raisins that are soaked in vanilla and spices in there. So
It's her secret recipe.
fine.
She doesn't want to give too much
Say
away.
we're recording. Make sure
Yeah.
you get all this.
Of course.
So like we can go.
Of course. So many people have said that over the years.
Mhm.
Oh, you know what? I tried to make that maple aioli at home. I don't know what I'm missing. Well, I don't think I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, right.
But I'm glad you're trying. Because you still have to come here.
Oh, that's the thing. Like I look at it as, could I try to recreate that? Sure. I'll just come down the street and see you guys and get it.
Exactly. For a while there, we even sold salad dressings.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
Bottled salad dressings.
tried everything for a little while.
Well, and I think what's really cool about what you guys do is it's sometimes it's the combination of flavors that you just don't expect.
Yep.
You see them on the board and you go, I don't know about that, but something about it says, I gotta try it. And I mean, I think of like the Maine. I look at that and go, I love all those things individually. I'm gonna love them all together. And then you get the sandwich and you're like, this is genius.
Nah, sweet and salty.
Exactly. So like, where does the inspiration for those sort of items come from? Do you just think them up or just experiment or what?
It depends. Well, she'll point at me, but she's all over that menu as well. A lot of those sauces. The maple aioli was her idea. The barbecue ranch, she worked in the Midwest and came up with that combination. I'm sure she wasn't the first, but we have to use this and we got to do it with turkey. We got to do it with bacon. The Maine started out as the maple turkey wrap.
Yes,
And it was really good as maple turkey wrap. We ran it for a special. The cowboy started as a special. Slowly, there are probably maybe 6 to 8 items that we started when we opened. Those are original menu items. Everything else has kind of morphed. Started as a special, started as something else, maybe a trend, and it just stuck around. The curry chicken salad was on the menu since day one. But the Maine, like I said, started out the maple turkey wrap, but we found the maple aioli is really good, but it can be loose. So we're like, well, if we put it on something that can soak it up, like a ciabatta or a croissant, it just flows off a wrap. We'll still make it, and the people that love it. Sometimes they'll get the sauce on the side and put it on after because it just falls out. You need something to kind of hold it. So that was an adaptation. And we found where we had the cowboy that used the turkey, the Maine was more suitable for the chicken. It just seemed to work better. Trial and error. Yeah.
Trial and error, taking feedback from people, trying
Exactly.
That's it, yeah.
Exactly.
Fascinating.
Yeah. That's how a lot of them started. And then when we first opened, we started naming everything. I don't know why, but we thought it would be kitschy. I guess everybody else did it at the time.
It's been a
So-
long time, so I don't remember.
Yeah. So we just were like, okay. Like we just added a menu item. It's a limited time, but it might be sticking around. We have the cousin Vinny.
No.
So Vinny's wife was a Gambini, but we have the Miss Gambino or Mrs. Gambino. We thought it would
From
be
my
a good
cousin,
play.
yeah.
So if you know the movie, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, cool. Yeah, there's a couple up there. We had a culinary instructor who, Chef Andriozzi, taught meat cutting, which was the hardest class in all of Johnson Wales. Great guy, great teacher. We did pretty well. He always used to say, don't let Uncle Louie find out about that. They'll never find you.
That's
So
where
I
the Louis
just-
comes
I was like,
from.
you know what? We got to have an Uncle Louie up there as an homage, But over the years, yeah, we started with Michelle's favorite. That has slowly become the Cousin Vinny.
Okay.
So that started out because I was working at Venda Ravioli in Providence, which has since changed, but it used to be a really old world style Italian deli. Huge deli deli windows all the way around. You could get items by pound, you could get custom sandwiches, you had it all. Everything imported from Italy, all the staff was from Italy. It was just amazing. So I would bring home sandwiches a couple times a week. She loved mayo. It wasn't so much about the vinaigrette, so I would do balsamic vinegar and mayo. Now that has morphed into balsamic vinegar, our balsamic vinaigrette and Caesar. But everything else is the same. But originally started out Michelle's favorite, roasted red peppers. They have to be marinated, turkey. So it's like, Italian American comes together, best of both worlds, familiar flavors, but done with a little spin. So now it's the Cousin Vinny, but was the Michelle's favorite. Then for a while morphed into the Dino, which had feta. Wasn't quite as popular without the mozzarella, so we just kind of,
Change it.
Sink or swim.
Yeah.
And we're always telling people that. So we were talking about the curry chicken salad. It was on the menu since day one. World got crazy. COVID went nuts. For some reason, it stopped selling so well. So we took it off the menu. A few people were bent out of shape. I could see why. It's one of my personal favorites, but it just wasn't selling. So there's a lot of costly ingredients in there. We said, you know what? We'll bring it back if we need to. Brought it back as a special, then brought it back as a seasonal. Now we're selling more of that than we are a lot of other sandwiches.
What's old is new again, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
kinda.
people are remembering, and this is
Yeah.
helping people to remember. Oh my God, that's why I love that, because it was very unique. When we were in culinary school, everyone made a curry chicken salad, but we got to see what we liked about it, what we didn't, kind of do our own version. Because we didn't have a lot of money, but you had enough money for chicken salad.
Yep, sure.
So she came up with the recipe, and then we said, let's put it on a menu. It's good enough. And no one around here had it. and still not a lot of places have it. So I think it's on its renaissance right now.
I think over the years we've changed people's culinary appetite in this area, because it was just ham and cheese when we came here, and we since a little bit at a time changed some culinary, I don't know, what do you call it, tastes.
Yeah.
People coming in and
People know what's possible and what it could be, and what it could taste like. I have a long-time regular. They've been regular since before they were married. Then we catered their wedding. They now have a couple of little boys, and everyone in the family loves the roast red peppers. And I remember right around the time, right before they got married, they were engaged. She said, you guys were closed, and I just wanted to see if I could do the roast red peppers. I opened up a can, and it's just, what is this? I said, well, no, you have to cut it, clean it, julienne it, marinate it. And she's like, all right, I'll just come.
I don't want to go on
I didn't know all of that went into it. I thought you just opened a can. I said, no, of course not. No, you have the ability to get just the best, marinate it, give it a certain flavor so that it just works. It's not just, or else it's just going to wash out everything else. It needs to stand up on its own as well. And she was like, well, that's why we come here. To the point that her and her boys will come in and they'll get a little sidecar of just the peppers because that's the first thing off the sandwich. They love them that much. Yeah. So we didn't realize we were doing that for people, or we were, just expanding their possibilities of what a sandwich or what food could be. But a lot of times it's pretty cool to see people get together, grow up, get married, have their kids come in, do their high school graduation, and all along, well, what do you want? Where do you want to go? Well, we want to go there because we've gone there for 20 years. We've gone there for 15 years.
Or then we see their babies.
Yeah.
We see their babies come in and we're like, oh.
It's routine, it's comfort, it's
Yeah.
familiarity, it's all those things.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start the story way back at the beginning. So before we get to day one of Saco Island Deli, and eventually Deli Company,
Yep.
let's start at the very beginning, culinary school.
Yep.
How do you go from culinary school to opening up a deli in Saco?
Well, how do we get there? It was by happenstance. My father, who was a chiropractor, knew somebody who had a deli in this spot. It was in this spot, and just kind of put the two of us together, because we had tried to get a business loan, and 2 kids trying to get a business loan right out of college is really
Banks
silly.
don't love that.
Yeah, no, they don't like that very much. Even though we knew what we were going to do, it's no. So a friend of ours said, hey, there's a spot. It's for lease. I don't know if you guys want to see it. And we said, all right, we'll go. We came in. I was like, look at this. We could do this. We could do that. Mark's like, ugh, look at this equipment. I just can't.
It was the lack of.
It was we had 2 electric ovens.
Yeah.
And a 3-bay sink.
Yeah.
And 1 refrigerator.
Yeah.
That was it.
And you're used
and
to
that
like
was
every
it. And yeah, we
possible
came
piece
out of
equipment.
culinary school, so there's all kinds of equipment,
Yeah. So it's
anything
like, I
you
don't
can
wanna
have or
start
want.
over. Yeah, like we had gas in our apartment for a stove. I don't. Oh my goodness. She said, "Don't you see the potential? It's a great location." And at the time, the building was 80% occupied by quite large businesses. New England Life Care was here.
Lots of
Their first
lawyers.
shift started at 6.
Yeah.
They would work till 8 at night. There were 40 people in the office. Social Security, Casella Waste Managements. I mean, there were a lot of big offices, and people needed to eat. So give it a shot.
Begrudgingly, he said, all right, we can make this
Give it a
work.
shot.
And we went, all
The
right.
same person that told us about the deli being available found out we moved up from culinary school. We didn't know what we were going to do. We just knew that she wanted to move back to Maine. I'm from New Jersey. I spent some time in Europe, and I just didn't want to go back to the hustle and bustle of the city. Wanted to try something new. Came up here to visit, loved it. So we said, let's give it a shot. So the same person that told us that this place is available contacted us because I guess a friend of the friend or a family member or something worked at the Biddeford Pool Country Club. Someone from out of state, their caterer double booked. They had this function that they needed help with. So they called us.
Like 3 days.
It was less. We kind of said, it's one of those, we said yes before we knew when
Yeah,
it
we
was.
didn't know.
Oh, of course we can do it. When is it? It's tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we made it happen, and we did that probably 2 or 3 times. We said, well, this catering is really fun. They don't give you a lot of classes on catering. They'll teach you how to cook. They'll teach you how to cost everything out. But, you'll do banquets and things. But that's when you have like a dining hall. They don't say there's a tent and there's a field and there's no running water.
Good luck.
Go cater a wedding for 300. That was something new. So, but we liked the challenge. It was almost like Restaurant Impossible.
Yes.
Before that was
Before
a thing.
Restaurant Impossible was a
guys did the
TV
original.
show.
Yes, we did. So we said, okay, well, we're going to need something, 9 to 5 or something Monday to Friday, something that we can do the catering, because up here it's still, even though we've been doing it for a while, it's still seasonal, it's still sporadic.
Sure.
And you could go a month or two, from January to March and not do anything. So how are you going to pay your bills? So that is when we found out the deli came up. And it was great. We saw the potential. And I remember when we first decided to do it, I think we spent 2 weeks kind of cleaning everything and getting everything ready, decoupaging tables, and just...
We didn't have any money, so we used what we had. They had the original tables. It was just vinyl top. Somebody had just stapled vinyl underneath, so we didn't want that. So we had I had some old cookbooks from 50s and 60s. So my sister and I cut out everything. We decoupaged the tables to make it look nicer, and we had old signs on the wall.
Yeah, that we had gotten at the Freiburg Fair. We were looking for inspiration. So we're like, I guess we'll go with the retro vibe, because she really loved the retro vibe. And her dad let us borrow his jukebox, so we put the jukebox in and just kind of went with it. And it worked for a good while. We were able to make it look different and put our own spin on it while not having to buy brand new chairs, because we'd rather spend money in other places and start getting new equipment, a new slicer or a new cooler. Slowly you realize what's the most important, what you actually need.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of, as much as we learned in school, it was a school of hard knocks.
There was a lot of
really
hustle.
Gave us a degree.
Still hustle.
Yeah.
All right, so you're doing catering, you launched the deli.
Launched deli.
You guys run at Saco Island Deli for quite a long time. And then along the line, there's a bit of a shift. Your business is now Deli Company. The catering is certainly a big part. You've got breakfast, you've got lunch. Let's talk about the transformation from Saco Island Deli to Deli Company. What prompted you guys after all those years to say, we're going to change it up?
An opportunity.
Yep.
An opportunity from the current landlord. There were offices behind us. We always wanted a hood. We could never have a hood. We were grandfathered in a hood, which is a residential hood, because all we could have were 2 electric ovens in the old deli. So we couldn't change anything, because if we changed anything, we would no longer be grandfathered for that little hood, which honestly didn't work at all, because it was just an electric hood like everybody else has in their house.
Yep.
But an opportunity, when the landlord said, hey, we're not going to use those office spaces behind anymore. Did you maybe think you want to do something? We jumped on it. We were like, yeah. And we started, we were able to get in the spot next door, and we taped out where the equipment would be, where we could expand to, and how many more tables we'd have in the deli. And it was just one opportunity that changed everything.
Because nobody ever wanted, so if we kept the original space, which was 800 square feet, including the kitchen, I think we had maybe 20 seats max.
Maybe 20.
Maybe. And people that were here, we would get very busy very quick, and there wasn't even a place to stand. Like, you'd have to wait outside.
Line out the door.
Yeah, literally sometimes. So nobody wanted a hood on the front of the building, so there was no way. So that, when we had the opportunity to take more room that way, the hood could go out the side, and that was the big game changer. I also thought it was clever how the current owner became a tenant for about a month or 2 before. I didn't even know he was the owner. I just knew what he liked to eat, which was a pesto chicken panini. And he was from out of state, so he knew food, what it could be as well. And he said, have you ever thought about expanding? I said, pretty much within about a month of being here, we thought about expanding. So he's like, well, let's talk. And then that's ultimately what happened. But he saw the potential. We had been working hard at it for a lot of years. As far as the rebrand, whenever anybody came in for the first 15, 16 years, you'd hear them on their phone, you'd talk to their friends, they would post.
I'm at the deli.
Yeah,
just the deli. I'm at the deli, not the Saco Island Deli, just the deli.
Saco Island Deli had a nice ring to it. It was so many incarnations of that before. It was the Saco Bay Deli. It was it was like, there were a lot of different names. And the longest it had ever been any of those businesses previous was about 3 years. So we purchased the Saco Island Deli, which I think was the longest running at 3.5 years that she had it. We kept it an additional 16, and then we said, you know what, it's time for a rebrand, because we only bought it and kept it that because the bank said we had to, and we pretty much scrapped the menu, and the only thing that was the same was the name and the logo. Because, like she said,
and then that changed a little bit over time.
Slowly tweaked a little bit here and there. But we thought everyone calls it the deli anyway. We wanted to be able to let people know that we were catering under, well, it was under the Saco Island Deli, but we called the business At Your Service Caterers, because we had started that business as At Your Service.
The first.
Yeah, people said, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Well, we'll get back to you."
I don't know. That was that event where she was like, "Oh, I need an event for 100 people in 3 days." We're like, "Oh, okay. What's your name?" I don't even know.
Right.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So we're trying to marry both and let people know that we were more than just a deli. The end company was intentionally ambiguous. Michelle is an amazing pastry chef. She is constantly coming up with new things. I mean, we could just sell cream horns. I think we could retire. They're that popular. I think the most we ever sold and the fastest we ever sold was 70 in an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And people were like, "What do you mean you're out?" Like,
it's a lot of buttercream.
It's a lot. They're that good. You just make them from scratch. So you can't reproduce that. And once people know the quality and they know what it's supposed to taste like, that's what they want. You've set the bar high. You've set the standard. Everywhere else, it's not. This is what we want. So, yeah.
So where were we going with that?
To demonstrate that we were more than just a deli.
Oh, yes.
And that we could also offer catering. And now it's become more of pickup catering after COVID. We do a lot less of the full service. When we were Saco Island Deli, we were almost every weekend in the summer. We were catering people's weddings for At Your Service Caterers, because also we didn't want people to think, so Saco Island Deli is catering, so we're gonna have sandwiches.
Yeah.
So we didn't want that. We wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So that's where the and company came in.
We felt that it was a good way to keep it all under the same umbrella, and to build an image, build a logo and a brand that held some weight. So now it's just making sure that people know that we were the Saco Island Deli. It's the same people, same spot. Just got a little bigger and got a few more toys.
Okay. So you bought an existing business, existing name, some recognition in the community. What is it like coming into a business that really already exists and then putting your own spin onto it with really good customers that may not be expecting?
Yeah, there was a bit of a learning curve. Previous owner had a bunch of people that were working. It was mostly moms, I think, that worked, and her kids helped out here and again. But she had a pretty good reputation as well, so that was nice to kind of hold a positive image, and people knew and they expected a certain quality, and we just kind of upped the bar. So it was already looked at as more of a deli or a delicatessen. It wasn't just a standard sandwich shop. People knew that it was going to be a little bit more, and it was going to be a little more special and done a certain way. She had a chicken salad she was very well known for. We could have kept serving it, but we decided to, again,
make it our own.
Yeah, make it our own, do our own thing. But I would say probably for the first 6 years, people would come in and say, "You have that salad with the grapes and the tarragon." It was that well known. Now, like people say, for our curry chicken salad.
Mm-hmm.
So along the way, you guys made some changes. You changed the restaurant, changed the layout, changed the space. You did dinner, you didn't do dinner. You had to pivot during COVID and go heavy takeout. Can you talk a little bit about the changes you made along the way, just as you adjusted to the market, but also the conditions and what's going on around you?
Sure. That was one of the biggest reasons we wanted to rebrand, was we really wanted to break into the dinner market. We wanted to do a little more of what we were doing for catering at the deli, have it still in a casual atmosphere. You could come off the beach in your shorts, you could come in with your kids, and they didn't have to be quiet.
Yeah,
grab a beer and hang out. But we also wanted to do a very specific menu, which was not sandwiches. So there was a bit of, I don't want to say confusion, it was starting to catch on slowly as COVID started to hit, and things started to change. So we just decided, as more people were coming in at dinner time and still wanted sandwiches, we tried to change it so it wouldn't all be completely different menu. So we did, what would you say? Gourmet or different cuisines, unique burritos and flatbread, grilled flatbreads and stuff that was a little different. So familiar because it kind of looks like a pizza, but it's a little different. A burrito, you could get it as a bowl. It was before there were a lot of other dinner restaurants around here. So people weren't really looking to come for that reason at that time. So we realized that we had fought so hard for our slice of the lunch market, and that is what really we were well known for, and where we're going to concentrate on that. And then COVID hit. So we were very fortunate that we were always set up for takeout. We quickly realized we needed to gain some type of online ordering platform, and we're able to kind of leverage into that. And then we started DoorDash and Grubhub and all of that. We still have delivery, but not through as many third parties now, because I think that grew too quickly around here, and the drivers can make things difficult, and the customer doesn't know that we didn't mess it up. They just know that they didn't get their food, and it's unfortunate, but 30% of the time the driver never drops the food off that they picked up, and that's tough.
Gives away a lot of control.
Yeah, exactly.
And it comes back to us. 'Cause
Right.
People don't know that. They
Right.
don't understand the whole.
And even if you give them their money
Delivery
back,
thing.
they were hungry.
Yeah.
Now
Now they're
they're
mad
still
at
hungry.
us.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Solve the problem.
Yeah.
So as far as breakfast goes, we had done breakfast for a short time as Saco Island Deli. You can imagine how that would be when the maximum with 2 ovens and electric burners was 8, and electric.
If
And
all,
residential.
If all 8 were working.
So as it started to take off, we simply just couldn't keep up. So we had to stop that for a while, and again, concentrate on lunch. It was me and one other person. And any given time at the old deli, there just wasn't room for other people. There was
was-
nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So let alone your cooking limitations and the capacities that you hit very quickly. So we were very excited to bring that back. So breakfast is still back. It's back better than ever. We never did bagels before. I never did my own English muffins. I would do them for catering. I would do them at home. I would do them, around the holidays and things. But we never did them here because, again, very limited on capabilities. Now with a full kitchen, that was from day one when we reopened and rebranded as Deli Company. We had the bacon jam that everybody loved. We had these English muffins that people they're just as popular, if not more so, than the bagels. Bagels are great, don't get me wrong. It's a really good New York, New Jersey style bagel. It's got a nice chew, we do it right. But the English muffins are like nothing you've ever tried. If you've had a good bagel, you've had a good bagel. The English muffins are
Different. They're just different.
so different. They're made like old school style in a ring,
Yeah, and they're amazing.
know,
They're like nothing I've ever had before.
which is what people remember. And you're tying the experience to the memory, and that's what we do. That's what we try to do.